Alright lads, Imperial Bodybuilding here. We are back and you are looking at Urs Kalecinski in his second open show. And what can I say? Look, I am that impressed with Urs Kalecinski. That's why I said this man has changed bodybuilding. First impressions, yeah, he looks just as good as he was in Italy. He's just as big, just as full, just as conditioned. The tan looks slightly dull. I think if he was a little bit more glazed, then that condition would really come through and he'd really pop. Nevertheless, you're just looking from the side chest. The arms have improved massively, which are a weak point. The chest, a lot more full, bigger. It's just like his glycogen stores have just ate the extra food that he's been able to eat and pack on as much muscle as he wants. You look at the back, which was a weak pose. The back double, I still think it's weak. It just lacks a little bit of detail. The lat spread, again, I wouldn't say weak, lads, but he does lack. I mean, you look at the rest of his posing, it's just polished. And I think it's definitely the right move for us when he moved up to the Open. As you can see in the first call out, guys, we have Quint Beastwood, and as you can see here, us move right to the middle centre. Ali Edwards on the right, really impressive physique, just those round, full muscle bellies. But if we compare the top two in the middle centre, who have you got? Lads, let me know. This is very hard for me to call. If you were to ask, I mean, Quint looks noticeably better than he did last week. He looks a lot more dry. Last week he was softer. If you were to ask me, pose for pose, I just think his experience, his density, and I think he does out-muscle ever so slightly, especially in the upper body. But look, it could go either way. We're in Germany. Urs is home turf. So, look, if you ask me with my head, I'm going to go with Quint. If you ask me with my heart, I'm going to go with Urs. From the back, I still think Quint has him. I think Urs catches up downstairs. But if you actually look from the back at the top, I just think that Quint is more complete. This is probably the best Quint that we've seen in his last three showings. I think Mark Hector and the lat spread looks absolutely incredible. But this is going to be tight. I'm making this video now. We're about to have finals. But if you were to ask me, I don't know, lads. Who do you favour? Who looks more improved from last week? I mean, I don't think your Urs had to do anything from last week. He's still full as a house. I think his conditioning is slightly better. As I said, the tan looks slightly dull. But Ali Edwards, he's got those full muscle bellies. And if you saw in my last video, Ali Edwards, he was the underdog. Just a little bit narrow compared to Urs and Quint Beastwood. Mark Hector, right to Urs, very disappointing. I don't know, there's something about Mark, he looks off. He doesn't have the Instagram conditioning that we see in, week out. So it's definitely right to award Urs and Quint Beastwood the first and second place. But just looking at Urs, how he's made the transition into the Open, I mean, wow. This is the catalyst you are going to see now. You're going to see more classic guys that can't make the weight. Look, it's just natural for them to jump up into the Open. Urs makes it look... To say effortless is an understatement. I just think he looks like he's naturally born to be in this division. The back, it does need improvements, but lads, it's his first year. I guarantee you now that in the next 2-3 years, we're going to see a completely different back. Looking at Quint Beastwood, I mean, again, I said this is his best look. His frame for a man that's 6 foot, and I think he's about 6'1", I just think he fills it out so good that he doesn't look stringy, but he's just got a beautiful silhouette, similar to Tony Freeman back in the 2000s. The lat spread is wacky, the legs really good for a tall man, and he's obviously got those calves that are probably some of the best in the Open division at the moment. From the side, a lot of detail on the side leg, really good pop on the quad. And just how he's improved, and he's a lot drier from his conditioning last week at Italy. I think if you were to go with me and it was life and death, I'm going to go with Quint. He's really got that Spider-Man sort of physique, long arms, long legs, glutes very tight. I'm very impressed from the back. Way improved from last week. He looked watery last week. Whatever he's done with his coach, I just think, yeah, absolutely nailed it. But even if he wins this show, you know, he shows up at the Olympia, and just looking at that silhouette, I love this pose. I think he looks so good in the abs and thighs. In the most muscular, great. If he shows up at the Olympia, what can he do? Because, I mean, the Olympia this year, lads, is absolutely stacked. You know, you've got Ali Edwards here. On Instagram, I think he does look better. But he's got those full popping muscle bellies, conditioning, absolutely incredible, sharp, razor sharp. Again, the background, the sponsors just absolutely ruin these shows. Why can't you just have a black background? The athletes look so much more dialed in, and this man is in conditioning. Look at the quads, the flaring quads, and the detail on the hamstrings. As I said, the only problem that he's got, I think, he's not that wide. He's got very narrow clavicles, but the detail in his back, if he was slightly wider, this guy would be an absolute threat. Top 8, top 6. He was my dark horse. I can't see him finishing any higher than third. Here's our final comparison, Urs versus Quint Beastwood. I don't know, lads, what are your thoughts? Go with your head and not your heart. Just let me know, who is the better bodybuilder? Who looks better? For me, lat spread, I'm going to go Urs. I think he's more complete, especially if you look at the shoulders, the chest. He just looks more complete and polished. Going from the side, I just think Quint's overall frame and structure. But again, the balance of Urs, it's very difficult to call, the side chest. I'm going to go Urs. From the back, definitely before they even hit the pose, the back double, I'm going to go Quint Beastwood. I just think he's got more detail. Yes, downstairs, I think Urs is better, even though he's still shaking from last week. I don't know why. Can anyone explain why he's shaking? Obviously, Urs is far better downstairs. I think he's got that sweep on the quad. But Quint has really improved. I give Quint the lat spread as well. I just think he's wider. There's more detail in the back, especially the lower back. Side tricep. Close. I mean, I just think Quint is slightly wider. But look, this show could go either way. As again, I'm speechless how he's actually transitioned from a classic physique competitor into an open. And you've got to remember, Quint's been an open guy. Sergio Oliva's been an open guy for years. These are seasoned veterans. And for Urs to come in, this is why, lads, it's so exciting. This is the turning point in a dull open men's bodybuilding. So let's see. Who have you got? Let me know. If you're to ask me, for the simple reason that the show is in Germany, I'm going to go Urs, and I don't think anyone can argue with that. But if you were to ask me if it was an open field and a neutral playing ground, I'd say Quint. I just think he looks more complete. He's improved his conditioning. But lads, let me know what you think. And if you haven't already, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you soon.